MaJaMa Jams is brought to you by Fear-Free Poopin'.
Guess what picture of Jaden Smith we have digitally altered? And the answer is none of the above. Jaden Smith is just a deeply weird guy.
MaJaMa. MaJaMa. MaJaMa.
I'm hungry. I'm going to my room.
Are you asking me or telling me?
May I go to my room, sir?
Denied! Sit down!
Welcome back, everyone, to MaJaMa Jams, a show where we discuss other people's work to avoid doing our own. Now, guys, the past couple of weeks we've been doing some vanity projects, whether Toxic Obsession or Chicken Park, but those have been on the lower end of things. So what would it be like if we had a vanity project with a grade A superstar and a lot of money?
Negative, sir.
Would it make things better or worse? We're going to find out today because we just watched the ungodly Will Smith and his son starring After Earth, not to be confused with the documentary about what happened to the woman that was dating the guy with the world's largest chode, After Girth.
Take your next inhaler.
Now, I don't know if you guys have ever had to sit down with your father while he berated you for doing your homework and went over math problems until both of you were in tears, either out of frustration or anger, but that's kind of what this was, the cinematic version of that.
You're wrong!
It feels like Will Smith desperately wanted his son to be a movie star, and we are the ones that suffered as we did this. Now, the Italian over here on this side of me will have a little bit of a background info as usual, because I think that is exactly what happened. But what we really want to stress is that this movie was a boring piece of crap. And that was a Jams! Good night!
MaJaMa.
What was I supposed to do?
MaJaMa.
Yeah, so guys, we'd heard stuff about this. I think we decided quickly before that we were going to do a trite night because, again, this one has been put through the ringer. This one does have the stigma, the stench of a real stinker, the stigmatic stench of a stinker, and it lived up to the hype, wonderfully so.
I like you, but I think it's something bad.
Or, you know, not wonderfully so, but it definitely earned its reputation.
Yes, it lived up to the reputation.
Now, we already knew this was going to be, at the very best, the second best thing to come out of the Smith children, because Whip My Hair by Willow is an amazing head nod jam, no matter what you may think of the Smith kids. So, this apparently came after the success of The Karate Kid, which was very pretty big hit, successful financially, and independent of how you feel about Jaden, I think well critically reviewed.
Mm-hmm.
I put my jacket on 1,000 times, and I took it off 1,000 times. Okay? This is stupid. I'm done.
So perhaps this led the path to doing this, independent of Will's nepotism.
Yes.
Well,
he, after doing The Pursuit of Happiness with...
oh yeah, Jaden was in that too, but lesser of a...
Well,
more of an accessory, if you will.
Yes.
Not as much of a forced into it here.
Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something.
You're wrong!
Will Smith has been searching for a project to do with his son in order to make him shine.
Mm-hmm.
Did he succeed? Sure.
Negative, sir!
Well, you know, the thing that really made me chuckle about this is I know that everyone gets stuck into they get pigeonholed into the typecasting roles, and I can only imagine how frustrating that would be. So I would never want to, you know, chastise an actor for trying to break out of that, but you've got the charismatic, wisecracking, wonderfully comedic, warm Will Smith.
Both my legs are broken. One very badly.
And then you're going to break his legs and have him sit in a chair literally the whole movie and speak in a stoic tone with, let's say this right at the start of the episode, the main culprit here is the accents.
Sir, I am dedicated, have studied, and consistently display conduct becoming of a ranger, sir. I request that the commander reconsider his assessment, sir.
The accents, the lack thereof, the lack of consistency.
What was it supposed to
Father!
be?
Father!
No,
there
it was so subtle too. It was like a child's speech impediment.
Qatar!
Everybody was just like doing this weird accent
Qatar! 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 Qatar!
that it was distracting.
Yeah.
It was really distracting.
Stoicism, the classic, oh, let's play the version of sci-fi where everyone is, you know, prim and proper and speaks like an elegant, again, I said the Phantom Menace type vibes. You go to expecting a swashbuckling Star Wars adventure and you get Jimmy Smits in a Renaissance fair looking robe talking about trade federations.
Commerce skills are preparing for war, there can be no doubt of that.
Count Dooku must have made a treaty with them.
We must stop them before they're ready.
Similar here, you know, you literally break Will Smith's legs. Both of them speak in this stilted pseudo accent, which doesn't stay consistent.
Most of all, Will Smith is not Will Smith.
Yeah, again, I hate to be like, hey, you have to do the one thing, but here I feel like is a fantastic example of sometimes why we love you for a certain thing.
Out for a run. Alone. Something we're never supposed to do.
Yeah, and clearly he did it because he didn't want to take away from his son. Because it's possible to make a movie where the two protagonists don't ever meet. Inner Space by Joe Dante, Martin Short and Dennis Quaid never actually meet until the end because Dennis Quaid gets injected by mistake into...
It almost happened with Caddyshack until they said, oh, God, we got to get these guys together and got Murray and Chase together.
But
it did happen.
Yes, but in Caddyshack, they do not talk. Here is a constant dialogue. It's kind of like having the characters on the phone.
Yeah,
and
it is having the characters on the phone.
Yes, and so Inner Space, it did it great. This one, not so much.
You have got to wake up. Can you blink your eyes?
Of course it's possible to pull off a successful movie when you don't have your beloved protagonist meet. Just look at the newest Star Wars trilogy. Jesus Christ, man. Of all the failures, you actually got all three of the OGs in there and they never meet up. They never meet up. None of them, right?
No,
Han doesn't meet Leia. Leia doesn't meet Luke.
No.
Luke
Han sees Leia.
Does he?
Look who it is. Did you see who... excuse me, Princess. General, sorry.
Leia, like, Force dreams with Luke.
I know my son's gone. No one's ever really gone.
Yeah.
Disney, you should be ashamed, although I will always give credit to JJ for what he achieved with The Force Awakens.
You should also be ashamed for trying to whitewash Song of the South, but that's beyond the point.
Disney should be ashamed for a lot of
Now
reasons.
they're trying to do it?
No, they've always been doing it. I mean, they did Splash Mountains, which was based on Song of the South, but that movie doesn't exist. It never happened.
You're wrong!
That's the same way Disney feels about the Holocaust. Now, should we dive into the backstory first, or should we dive into the beyond boring plot of which there's nothing to highlight?
Like, what is it? It doesn't...
The plot is very simple.
It's horrible.
Yes.
I mean, it could be... This is that classic survival story. So.
Yes, but Earth 1,000 years from now, for strange reasons, every creature...
Everything on this planet has evolved to kill humans.
Even if they're not humans on Earth, so it's weird how the evolution was there. At night, the temperature drops except for certain pockets of heat. You need oxygen, even if there are plants everywhere. And
trees everywhere, dense forest.
Trees, yes. And the starship with Will Smith and Jaden Smith crash lands, snaps in half. Everybody dies except for the two of them. Will Smith has his broken legs. He tells Jaden, you have to go to the tail of the ship to get a beacon to signal that we are here. And Jaden goes and...
As if anyone would care.
And similar to what I tell you when we're about to have a night smoking together, he says, hey, Make sure you find those hot pockets.
Why?
Hot pockets. The
Because
popular
of the munchies?
snack.
The munchies you're talking about?
Yeah.
When have we ever eaten Hot Pockets?
You gotta be careful. Those things will burn your throat.
Meanwhile, there are creatures that are being specifically
Bred to kill humans. Technically blind, the Ursa sees humans based on the pheromones we secrete when threatened.
However, they made them blind, and they only smell the fear. And for some,
You should have called it pheromones.
Very true. And also, even if they are blind and they only can smell fear, they can impale humans after they kill them on trees. How they get it there is not clear. Yeah, there must be a tree.
I said this recently on the show. I forget what it was, but again, I'm the creature feature sucker. It's so easy to get me to be a sucker for something with creatures in it, and they had no effect here. When did I just say this with something? There was something else that we watched that was a total
Piranha 2.
Chicken Park.
Okay, yes, thank you. That was it. No, it was Piranha 2. I'm always shocked if you can't pull even a little bit of base level joy at me from like a creature fighting scene, and just this whole movie is nothing. It's almost, it's one of those things where it's not even bad. It's more offensive because it's just.
There is first is flatline, and second of all, I'm sorry, he probably is a great guy, but Jaden Smith does not communicate anything.
What about this?
Yes, the
constantly
furrow brow, and even in his photos, all his photos are like that. And you don't root for him, you don't care for him.
You don't care about either one.
Exactly.
The dad is sterile and cold, and the kid is just annoying.
Richard Roper.
You're wrong!
This mission has reached abort criteria. I take full responsibility. You did your best. You have nothing more to prove. Now return to the ship.
So, this is pretty much. They get saved.
Can you imagine an investor is signing on who's like, all right, well, we got America's global superstar, all-time moneymaker Will Smith in this sassy, wisecracking, fun action. Will, I can't wait to sign on. What's happening again? We're breaking both my legs. I'll be confined to a chair the entire movie while I speak in a stilted accent and let my son do all the work. Oh, well, what's that, honey? My wife is calling me.
What attracted M. Night to this project?
I think two things. One, Will Smith asked him to be second unit director or whatever. And two, he wasn't getting much work because
this is post Airbender?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I think
So, like I said, I don't remember the rest of them, but I know that there were at least 3.
Well, The Happening, Airbender, and
was that what it was?
I think so.
Because Knight has a, we've said on this show, me and Mateo more so than Matthew, really respect him for always doing something that's surprising no matter what it is. I think that needs to be saluted.
I have a main problem with Trap. Besides that,
he has a spotty.
I don't hate the guy.
He has a spotty catalog overall, but there was a period that was particularly bad, and it's this one, culminating with the back-to-back of the complete flame out of Airbender.
He did After Earth too around this time.
And the complete flame out of After Earth.
And his name is not on the poster, is not in the trailer. They just removed it. It was just like a whole Will Smith thing.
I was going to say
you didn't know that it was a movie of his. Yes.
We may see this confirmed in Mateo's backstory, but I feel like it's not really an M. Night movie. He's kind of just like, hey, you guys could shut up.
He actually said that during a lecture or something that he considered this one and Airbender garbage movies.
It's not possible.
Because it's not really his story. He was just like a tool. He was just like put the camera, say action and stop. And everything. This one he did some rewriting, so he got a co-writer credit.
Well,
what the hell are you writing? There's like 3 lines in the entire film.
Mateo, this needs to be asked before we delve into the backstory. No, I'm serious.
Make the conversation longer.
No. This needs to be asked.
Yes.
Is he fantastic at going himself and seeking out funds? Because I've always been pretty entranced, maybe that's the wrong adjective, pretty interested, fascinated by the fact that Hollywood seems to essentially act on a complete high school level where it's like, you're not cool right now, you don't get to come to the party. So after these spectacular flameouts, you know, I feel like that would be it for filmmakers. Is he just really good at gathering the funds himself? Because not only has he kept going, but he's had, you know, major to minor hits with friggin' what was it? Split was, I think, actually no, I take it back. Split, I think he found the most love post Sixth Sense. Very, very beloved movie, both critic and financially wise, audience wise.
Glass, no.
Glass, no, but Visit, a small return to form. Then he had a couple like half and halves, Knock at the Cabin and Older, both. Maybe Promise are pretty good. Trap is its own thing. Love it or hate it. It's look, love it or hate it. That is something magical where you could ask 100 people and 50 are going to say this thing should be burned with flames, and 50 are going to say what a fun time.
No. And they were like, no, try this. No, yes. Okay, try this.
Either way, how the hell does he do this?
I don't know. I think that he's very charming as a man. I have to admit.
He does seem that way.
He's very, very sweet.
Seems humble.
I'm sorry?
Seems humble, you know?
Yes, even if, well...
Or no.
He depicted himself as the savior of mankind.
Well, yeah, well, that's just a side effect of being a writer, trust me.
In the water. But I think that one of the reason why they're kind of like listening to him and giving him money is that, as we said more than once, either you love him or you hate him. Whenever he makes a movie, it spurs a discussion.
It's
and also is one of the few directors that, with very, very, very few exceptions, no sequels. He just always brings you an original story.
I request that the commander reconsider his assessment, sir.
And that's an excellent point because we've talked a lot about this. With very, very, very few exceptions, it's hard to have a buzzy director name anymore. Not only have movie stars gone away, but I feel like the director buzz has gone away to the point where IPs are the only friggin' star. As much as I gobble up my Marvel, we have completely almost destructed the movie star. And M. Night, like, that's a great point. Love him or hate him, it's always buzzy. It's always a conversation. It's always electric. And even when someone despises it, it's not just like, oh, it was whatever. It's no, it's
vehemently either loved or hated.
That is correct.
Trap needs to be studied, seriously. And we've done an episode on it. Again, if you guys want to go to our channel here, look at the playlist. It was one of our couple of MaJaMa Saves Hollywood episodes. We've talked about it. But Trap does need to be studied because any type of split like that, it's just too extreme. It's either this was an absolute blast or this needs to be destroyed now. Kill every copy of this movie like Lucas wanted to do with the Star Wars special.
Yes.
But I digress. Let's get into a little bit of the backstory because we gave you guys most of the plot and it really is that sparse. They're stuck, Will's in a seat, he's out there, he's trying to get the thing to bring him back. That's pretty much all you need to know, and we'll get into some more of it. But let's talk about the backstory of how this, what I have to imagine, like I said, is just a dad desperately trying to get his kid to do his homework type scenario.
You guys feel the need to just like stand up and run?
Yeah.
It's like a restless vibrating in your legs?
This isn't a race, cadet!
It's those damn accents and the stoicism.
It was very daunting because I wanted to imitate it every time I heard it, and it just changed. It was slightly English, slightly Caribbean, slightly
it's
muddled. Like I said, it sounded like an impediment that a kid would have.
It's a very special day for our family, and I've got to be able to tell him that I'm a ranger, sir.
Why do you hear that in rehearsals? Why do you hear that in the dailies? Why do you hear that in the first cut? Like, let's stick with it. Let's keep going. Maybe we'll get better. Maybe our ears will tune to it.
It will grow on you.
Well, it's because, like you say, there's always inconsistencies, so it always sounds a little. And it always, to me, it would be the most base level, like a community play or a student film. I remember reading it in an acting book because I've read one of those before. It's like, just use your natural voice. It sounds fake. Right? It sounds like you're putting on a voice. I would feel like that would be the number one thing. Like you said, you'd hear it in rehearsals and be like, okay, that sounds like you're putting on a voice. Let's maybe just go with your natural voice.
And why were you? She called out for you. She called your name. And you weren't there because you never there.
It's a very strange choice.
No, even better. Everybody does it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like an evolutionary thing where it's like
Probably.
the one language shared by all the people who have fled, the nomads who have fled Earth, or what is it?
Yeah, it's weird that like always in this movie, there was the same problem in Jason X. You go 10,000 years, no, this is 1,000 years in the future.
That sucked.
Yeah, on Jason it sucks on so many levels. Here is just like ASAP or take.
Well, no, actually, I was thinking of it sucks on so many levels because it works decently as the comic relief, but after he plunges onto this syringe, he says,
"That sucked."
That is correct.
Oh, this sucks on so many levels!
which is a very interesting thing. Mateo's brought that up before. It's very interesting to me. How long does the life of slang have? I remember there was a little MTV like bumper commercial that talked about the evolution of the phrase, forgive me, bling bling.
Bling bling. Bling bling.
Bling bling.
Bling bling.
Bling bling. Bling bling.
Which, of course, if I say that now, you just have to cackle because it sounds outdated. And yet somehow the ugly, fresh, venomous take of the N-word never dies. Terrible thing.
That is correct.
But it is a great discussion, Mateo, of how long. Like slang is not going to last hundreds of years.
No, if you think about it, Hell's a Popping is 1941, and they say the girl with the ice, meaning with the diamonds.
Here, you came with those people that gave me that ice. Now give it back to them.
Oh, there's Gloria now.
Point her out to me.
It's not proper to point, Peppy. She's the girl loaded down with the ice.
Oh, well.
Oh.
And it just 80 years later, or probably even less.
Interesting.
Ice just like meant...
Ice around my neck. Okay, all great stuff, but let's get in. I want to hear the backstory of how Will Smith inflicted the world with this.
So, the only thing that I wasn't sure about it was more from his idea, or he read a script and he liked it, but he wanted to change. But basically, the origin of this movie was a story about a father and a son going on a camping. They would fall into a ravine or something. The father would get incapacitated in some way. The kid had to go to ask for help, and he's chased by a bear. That was the basic idea. Will Smith apparently liked the concept, but not to say this.
How can we make it more expensive?
Yes, because he said this one, it doesn't have the feel of a blockbuster, a kid in a forest with a bear, and so they evolved. He called two writers, and apparently he commissioned also a series of novels because this one was supposed to be a trilogy.
Oh. Oof.
And yes, they called M. Night Shyamalan to film everything else but Jaden Smith, which was taking under the care of Will. And apparently he says it was taking so long that the production went over schedule by a month.
What was I supposed to do? What did you want me to do?
And yeah, the first cut was about 2 hours and a half. People were just like falling asleep and leaving the theater because there was no...
Can you imagine?
So much so that, for instance, there is very early the guy, I forgot his name. I will put it here. Okay. The guy who is...
Can you read?
Yes, sir.
Well, there's a sign back there. Authorized personnel only.
He is from Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. And he had a long discussion, and eventually the production forced him to cut his hair and cut his beard because he had if you think Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
And with all the cuts, his part is about a minute now. It was more long and elaborate and stuff.
Your heart's beating faster.
My suit's turned black. I like it, but I think it's something bad.
Your suit is made of smart fabric. It has motion sensors. I'm tracking a life form moving toward you from the west.
And then the story is completely, it has so many stupid contradiction or something, because it says his dad is able to ghost. When they ghost,
Right.
the monsters can't see you. But then he has to go and kill them with a spear rather than with a gun, which would be much more effective.
Why don't they have guns?
It's not clear, it's not said. But then all these monsters, they're there, but they have time to build the cities and everything. And then Earth has evolved in this very weird, bizarre...
Why did the aliens want them to...
I don't know.
The Ursa sees humans based on the pheromones we secrete when frightened. They literally smell our fear. Humankind was again in danger of extinction, and again turned to the Rangers for the answer.
It's just they want to kill them or something. And on
But the
Earth,
aliens never came to Earth?
they dropped these Ursas, the monsters, the blind monsters. Yeah.
Oh, so they could be on Earth.
To kill.
Why are they
people.
blind?
That's the beauty of it. Is that there's been specifically genetically created to kill men. They're blind. They can only smell fear.
Wait, so there could be other Ursas on Earth?
There were Ursas on the planet wherever they are living from, and then they get to Earth, and there is only the one that
came
gets
with them in
free.
the ship, though.
Yeah.
Sounds like an old Danny Kaye type song Mateo would like. Where the Earth is an Earth, but the other Ursas came to Earth because it's after Earth now. But I like the Ursas that coming inside and they come in my pants. I don't know how.
Pour the pellet with the poisons in the vessel with the pestle, the chalice, the palace has the brew that is true.
Good man. Just remember that.
All right, I guess I should have been paying more attention during the flashback.
It doesn't matter. Oh yeah, there are 25,000 flashbacks. We're also.
just based on his comment, I imagine they have the first screening and Will's like, so what did you guys think of the Ursas? And everyone's like, oh God, what were the Ursas? Was that his son's name? It's really...
Oh, what was the kid? It was...
Qatar!
Qatar or
Qatar? Qatar.
Qatar! 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 Qatar!
This is the whole movie. Qatar! Qatar!
Take a
Qatar!
knee. Take a knee.
Qatar!
Another absurdity is that the mom of Katai asks, when he is younger, he hides him underneath a glass dome, I guess, and because one of the Ursas enter the apartment and kills her. And
wait, wasn't it
that
the
was a
sister who died? Because we still have the mom. She tells him he needs a son.
Oh yeah, they kill the sister. So if you're underneath a glass, they can't smell you. So build a uniform that can actually do that.
If you're underneath the glass, you can't smell you. So this is where we go to let loose farts, okay? Captain,
trapped in there inside with that thing.
And then,
please.
And then he has the suit that changes color because it becomes black when there is a danger, incoming danger.
Yeah, but that's not going to work in Kentucky.
But it doesn't actually have like a feature on it. It just turns black.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. Just
exactly.
It just alerts you to danger.
Yes.
Your suit is made of smart fabric. It has motion sensors.
And it turns white when it's cold, which I think that you would feel it.
Yeah.
In general, it's not that you say.
Dude, I know that the iPad made it so you can actually blow out electronic birthday candles. So I suppose if we're in the future, something like that could happen. But in the context of this movie, how does Will blow out the candles through a video screen? Is that just a cute moment? Like,
what are you, an idiot?
There
was Katai behind the
yeah, there was a sun on the side.
That's one of your questions?
Yeah, well, I speak... I don't know, man. How the hell could you follow any of this? Everything he just said, I'm like, that happened? All I remember is just some guy running through the forest while Will sits there falling asleep gradually and just saying Katai over and over again until some rabid monkeys or rabid dogs or rabid whatever.
Baboons.
That was the pitch, by the way.
Son, the baboons are approaching.
They're all presenting.
They're very strong. They're going to viciously rape you. You need to run.
Why is my suit turning red?
And then he reads Moby Dick.
You built that into the suit?
I'm reading Moby Dick.
Your mother told me. That's great.
What was the point of Moby Dick's, what was the importance of Moby Dick?
Ask Herman Melville.
So at the end we have the whales.
Right. But I mean, the significance of the story, or that we killed the planet, or we...
Captain Ahab is obsessed by Moby Dick, so I guess that at this point they wanted to see that Katai is obsessed with his mission, even to the point of endangering himself because he jumps off of the cliff.
Can we talk about what these assholes picked for their futuristic chairs on a 7-hour flight?
They strap you to the wall without even a headrest.
There's no headrest. There's no seat. There's no comfort. There's no back. He's like, "Why don't you take a nap, son?" He's like, "Okay."
It looks like it's a military transport dropship. So I think they're trying to recreate.
It's like a friggin' 3M JetBlue Red Eye.
But if you're gonna do that, then have 1,000 people stacked in there, just packed in there, to show that we have to just make do with the space we have. But it looks like they have plenty of room to stretch out, have a headrest, have a recliner.
It's a very small corridor also.
Yeah.
You can't recline.
But the ship looks huge.
Yeah. It's all engine, probably.
Maybe, yeah.
It's not entertaining at all, but
yes,
if you think about it, it is if this was done well, it'd be one of those examples of such a streamlined, minimalistic story, and I think it would actually speak to the strength of such a thing, because the one positive thing I can say, it's first of all, after the god-awful cut, it's still felt, I didn't feel that long. It's mercifully brief for what this could have been. I'm not saying it's zipped by, but it is mercifully brief, and it's very streamlined. It's really the little bit of setup, they crash, oh my god, my legs are broken, you gotta go, I got it. And I at least, again, I didn't think this worked at all for me, but there's at least a nice streamlining of the story that if you did pull this off, it would have been like, look what you can do. Same thing to the bear story. That sounds like a great, father, son, leg broken, bear.
I would rather seen that. I wouldn't see.
Yes, 100%.
Kind of raw. And
at least you can relate.
Yeah.
And it's
a kind of a Cujo situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The two biggest problems, I think, in this movie are the Smiths.
Yeah.
Because you have...
you just kill Will's charisma.
Yes, Will Smith is just doing...
Or if you're going to do it, have him play he just wasn't playing anything. It wasn't even a character.
And it doesn't come... I mean, when he's about to die and everything, you don't give a damn.
No.
It's just like the... And his son is just he cannot carry a movie for the love of anything.
What did you want me to do?
Yeah, it's funny because sometimes, we've watched a lot of trash on this, so we've seen what truly bad acting is, and I can't necessarily say it's like a asylum movie type bad, and yet it's just so...
Yeah, it's kind of just bland.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially because when you realize that you're stuck with those two for the whole movie...
And they're not even on screen together.
And they're not on screen together.
Once again, going back to the bear story, make Will have to walk through the forest with a broken leg with his son, and so the son has to help him through it. His son has to hide him at times and try to fight the bear or distract him or something like that. Put them together, they're talking to each other, but it just seems like...
You have exhausted your resources.
I can get across. I can do it with just two, Dad.
This mission has reached abort criteria. I take full responsibility.
I mean, most of this is probably filmed on green screen.
Well,
so it's just sterile, separate sets.
I've literally only seen the trailer for The Pursuit of Happiness, but isn't it also a very somber drama where Will gets to show crack a little smile and give it a little charm still?
What were you doing before you were arrested?
I was painting my apartment.
Is it dry now?
I hope so.
It's just so, they literally sucked and again, I understand it must suck to be pigeonholed and, you want to be creative and stretch your legs. I completely get that. Actors shouldn't have to stay within the wheelhouse. But I feel like here they sucked every last bit of what makes Will Smith out. It's as if, okay...
Not even that, it's the character, too. It gave nothing to the character.
And also, it's a movie that is devoid of levity.
Yeah.
The only, as I told you, pseudo joke is when...
Dad,
Yeah.
I want to work with Mom.
It just almost feels like, oh, a joke. I forgot what those were over
Yeah.
the course of this 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And so it gets extremely heavy, but mostly you really don't care for either one.
No.
There is nothing to latch on, and I remember once again, I'm talking not the persona, I'm talking the choices, acting wise and roles, but I remember hating Jaden Smith in The Day the Earth Stood Still.
You killed him! You killed him! You killed him!
Let me finish.
I
Wait, they
hated him.
God, he was in that.
They made. They
Forgot
remade.
they made that.
Yeah, we
Keanu.
saw it together with Keanu Reeves.
No, we didn't.
Yep.
Yeah. Clapping
One of
around Nick
the
too.
first years. That we know.
Yeah. And I hated him. And this one, I have every single movie by Shyamalan, including Stuart Little. And this one I could not force myself to buy it.
It's not possible.
And I won't.
Says a lot, because Mateo is a completion, if nothing else. There's a lot of stuff I
Yes.
feel like he owns just because.
I even have a Son of Pink Panther with Roberto Benigni only because of the opening sequence. That is the last thing that Henry Mancini ever filmed, and Bobby McFerrin and the Voice of Trust singing the theme of the Pink Panther. That's only worth skipping the rest of the movie. Just like those 5 minutes are great.
I don't want to sidetrack too much, but I feel like you might be the type of gentleman that has a quick answer. Do you know in your collection what is the, like, I abhor this and still own it? Is there one where it's like, I disgusted by this, but it's still in my collection?
All of the Daniel Craig's James Bond.
I was just about to ask, and this guy's got all the Craig Bonds. There was not even one, and like, was it 4 or 5 that you could like? Really? Is it just an intense hatred of him as the character?
Yes.
Is it too? And funnily enough, I think this is where you and Dad actually completely sync up. Is it too devoid of humor, especially coming from someone whose favorite Bond is more?
One is that, and two is the fact that it's too. They wanted to do a Dark Knight Bond kind of, and it's Bond is.
Christopher Nolan ruined joy in movies.
Yes, yes. Bond should be stupid fun, especially after Goldfinger. The first two were kind of like serious because they didn't know yet that it was Bond, that it would have become this gigantic thing. But after Goldfinger, they say, okay, let's just like go. What they say, I don't know if it was Sir Ian Fleming who actually said it, but say Bond never have to go into the impossible. It can get to the improbable, but never to the impossible. Which kind of like with Moonraker fell a little bit over the wayside. But other than that, it's. But James Bond should be fun. That's why Mission Impossible is more Bond than Bond. The last 5 Bond.
You gotta catch up on those Mission Impossibles. I hear
Oh,
stellar
catch up is
things.
good.
That is correct. I have lost contact with our son. End message.
All right, so we've gone.
You guys want to talk about the movie we just watched?
We've gone into the backstory. We've gone into all that. Let's get a little bit more into the actual things of the movie, even though it was still so sparse that I'm like, it's really hunt around, pass out, animal attack. No joke.
Passes out like 5 times.
Hunt around, pass out, animal
Take a
attack.
knee. Every now and again.
Take a knee. The closest I get, just because I have a absolutely pathetic hypersensitivity for anything involving animals, was the bird dying, and that's just simply because, and you can't have an animal die and me not feel a little something just because I'm such a bitch. But again,
I don't understand why the bird. Did the bird take him to the nest to be food?
He was gonna.
It looks like that the bird.
But then he saved the baby. So.
No, he didn't even save the baby. He
all the
tried
babies
to
died.
defend the baby. But yes,
But like I'm saying, when he's trying to save the babies and he's like, get away from them. First of all, the bird doesn't speak English.
No! Leave them alone!
Second of all, the bird is outside the nest with all the growth over. You can't see inside the nest, and is fighting one of the tigers.
The bird could sense that Jaden was helping.
How could the bird know he was trying to save the babies? And all the babies die. How did the babies?
Do they?
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm glad I missed that.
Where were the?
You were with us, right?
Listen, man, it's difficult enough to pay attention to a movie I'm enjoying.
That is correct.
But then he gets caught in after that. He runs away, and the bird's like, "All right, whatever, get out of here. My baby's dead."
Yeah.
And then Jaden Smith passes out in the cold, and then gets dragged to.
I mean, nowhere because
wakes up after a movie like this, and he finds that the bird's just plowing into the back of him.
It's the bird that defends him, and I guess that hugs him or something, or covers him.
But he wasn't under the bird, was he?
Yeah, when he came out from under.
That's
the bird.
what that was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this is what I gathered.
All right, no, that makes sense, but I didn't.
And so the bird sacrificed herself, I guess, because probably it's a.
And because.
So we got birds, baboons.
Because that's also he said everything on this planet has evolved to kill man, and yet that bird defends him.
Yeah.
So and also the snake or whatever, that crawling thing, that he slithering thing that he meets, doesn't do anything to him. And yet it should have evolved to kill him, and he just ignores him.
But he's saying it didn't evolve because of the aliens to kill man. It just evolved naturally.
When they crash land before he leaves Will Smith, he says,
"This is a Class 1 quarantined planet. Everything on this planet has evolved to kill humans."
But doesn't say why.
No, because they didn't. Why bother explaining something like that?
Why is it called After Earth? Because the
Earth.
The Earth is the after version of the Earth. Or it takes place after, because Earth is still around.
Yeah.
Warning, this planet has been declared unfit for human habitation.
Titan A. After Earth. Is that what it means? Yeah. So we got mutated baboons, we got mutated hawks, we got mutated.
They're not
I don't know if
really
they're mutated. They just
cougars.
They just evolved a little bit.
We got that thing that's the creature that fail to entrance me.
The most mutated were the tigerish.
Yeah.
There's nothing to talk about with the movie, right?
He has 25 flashbacks of his sister.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But probably the funniest thing that you brought up, like you said, is that he passes out a lot. He keeps passing out.
He's gotta eat those air oxygen cookies.
Yes.
Let's give a small crumb here. I enjoyed the design of those, and I enjoyed the idea of like puncturing a pouch and sucking the thing out. That's what she said. Again, small breadcrumb, but
yes,
I
but
that.
At the same time, in a planet where there are plants everywhere, you would think that the oxygen, because these
are after trees, Mateo.
I know, but then so what happens to the animals? They don't breathe oxygen either.
They've evolved to kill man. They subsist on killing man vibes.
They evolved.
Everyone, no food tonight.
With the environment.
Thinking about killing men.
It looks like.
But why did everyone leave Earth? Because the aliens dropped the Ursas on the Earth and chased everyone off?
The founding of the United Ranger Corps 1,000 years ago was a global military effort, an evacuation of Earth.
But then why did the aliens do that? And that would still mean that
So, what did everyone think of the Ursas? Jesus Christ, what were the Ursas? He's going to be so angry. What are the Ursas? They were...
This is the classic movie where they had ideas that they never go further from the first time that they say it. They say, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if everything at night freezes except for some bug?" Yeah. Why?
It was cool.
Yeah, it's cool, and that's it.
That is correct.
So this is kind of written by Will.
Story by.
It is a story by, but apparently they had.
With the amount of science fiction that exists, the million carbon copies of this kind of idea, why do something new? Why not at least adapt something?
Just grab a Philip K. Dick. There's a ton of them.
Honestly.
You're always grabbing Dick.
Nice. Dude, I want an actual count. Like, I can't even count how many Philip K. Dicks have been adapted. So many, right? So many classic movies based on Philip K. Yeah, just take another of his. Yeah. Don't try to write your own.
No.
You're wrong!
For instance, there is also, if you don't want to, not necessarily science fiction, but there are a lot of novels or short stories. Cornell Woolrich, Matthew's favorite author.
From.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
The guy who wrote the short story that Hitchcock based the Rear Window on. He wrote a story that it was the basis for Cloak and Dagger, a movie with Henry Thomas and Dabney Coleman, which has nothing to do with that story.
Cut the crap, kid. Give me the tape.
Coming any closer and you're going to be diving for it.
So that story is still pristine, and it was great. It's a kid who witnesses a murder, and it's a very Rear Windowy. He witnesses a murder, and the murderer tries to get to the kid, and he befriends a neighbor or something like that, and everything. That could have been, for instance, just something a drama with an impending doom or something. This one is
it's just not unique enough. It's not special enough.
And doggone it, people like me.
I think the idea is like, okay, the kid's got to go on his own quest and journey to become a man on his own.
Yeah.
And it's just, if you're going to do that tried and true story, you got to do something at least different or cool or special.
But the one with the bear would have been much more interesting.
Honestly, yeah.
Negative sum.
Because you can relate. Because here when you have monsters, I mean, granted, here they had to do that because then the kid had to learn how to ghost all of a sudden from.
Just don't text back.
Out of the blue, he learns how to win his fear and everything. We don't. There is no progression in the movie that.
And
just
like meet up with Ursa at least once before the last time.
Exactly.
You know?
Yes, and so it seems just like that they went to just the basic idea without thinking about it and saying, yeah, it's gonna be cool and it's gonna be fine.
Will Smith's in it. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna do fine.
Yeah.
That is correct.
What did you guys think about the scene where right before Jaden started fighting a bunch of the mutated baboons, getting jiggy with it kicked in?
The what?
That's when the blade comes out and the beat starts.
Dude, let's rescore this movie with all of Will Smith's rap hits.
That would be great.
No. No.
What? Stand down,
cadet.
Guitar!
Gotta get jiggy with it. That's it. Now, honey, come ride. DKNY, all up in my eyes. You gotta.
I'm not a coward!
Guitar!
Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute.
But
just
even the action sequences,
they're nothing. Like I said, if you can't get a little bit of joy out of me with a creature type, like a monster, alien monster,
he's too younger or unskilled to fight, so he's kind of just running for everything. Which I think, like I said, Bear Story would work. You're just at your wits' end, desperate to survive, so you're just running. You're constantly running and hiding and ducking and dodging a bear.
Yeah, here his superpower is running. They show it at the beginning that he's running with his hands up.
That's where he sees where you can go.
Yes, he gives him the direction where to go. So of course, all the ideas of sequels and books.
How was 2 and 3?
Thank.
They didn't even see the light of day. I don't know if as far as I know, there was nothing even written. It was just like the idea of doing.
Is it true Jaden didn't want to do this?
That I don't know. Probably.
And you think I'm a coward?
I don't know. I don't know what it's. It's so weird.
Will was extensively coaching him on set, right?
Excited about it, you know.
I mean, I understand that if you are, I don't know how old he was, but definitely
17.
When he did this.
Who knows?
Okay.
5.
It's impossible for us to check.
No, yeah, we never know.
It's a great. I mean, they give you a lot of weight on your shoulders to say, hey, you're on a $130 million project, and you're the star protagonist and everything. I'm surprised that he has not a sex scene with one of the baboons or something.
We were all hoping for it.
Yeah.
Those things get wild, though. Especially when they're in heat.
Yes. They're throwing feces at you.
Yeah.
Also, it's funny that they say that the Ursas have been genetically engineered to kill men, and then they slaughter all the baboons.
Yeah.
Just because.
Why not?
Perhaps their knowledge of man is from the Cro-Magnon area. And they're like, well...
But it's 1,000 years in the future.
Who knows?
That thing's got fingers. Kill it.
Let's
It's an opposable
express our feelings by throwing pieces of paper. We'll start with Matthew.
5.
We almost got it in my cup.
That's what she said.
Oh, we should give credit. This movie has one of the greatest That's What She Said ever that we all cracked up about. I'm not interested in having that in me anymore.
And I decide I don't want that in there anymore.
Yes.
Hilarious.
I go with 5.
Nothing.
I am so, yeah, there's nothing. I'm sorry because it's...
The brothers are united in 5 because...
You go first.
There is nothing. There's nothing. Except the moment that made us have a classic That's What She Said, which was a good laugh.
Yeah.
Does that make it worthwhile?
Maybe. No.
MaJaMa.
Guys, this was nothing. I don't have anything else to say.
For once?
Right?
Are you bleeding?
I think my gum is.
Jesus.
Are you contagious?
I've been trying to not have it leak, but...
To not have a leak?
Yeah.
That what she said?
Did Jaden Smith do it to you? It's pouring out your mouth, man.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it happens.
Oh. I don't... We should,
Let's cut!
That was Jim.
That was a jam.
Don't do it. He's going to spray blood everywhere.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
MaJaMa.
Gay sex. All I want is some gay sex. I really need some gay sex. We'll need some gay sex.
You take it easy on your father. He's a little rusty.
Take a knee. Down.
Gay sex. All I want is some gay sex.
On top of me.
I like you, but I think it's something bad.
Wow. That's really pretty.
I really need some gay sex.
I don't want that in there anymore.
I really need some gay sex.